Welcome back to another edition of the AfterBuzz. I'm your host, Brandon Coates. We got producer Dave right over there.
Good morning.
Here hanging out for your Wednesday morning. Hopefully everything is going fantastic in your world. Just a few topics we're going to be covering on today's AfterBuzz. As always, if you want to get involved in the chat, you are more than welcome to do so. Ask questions, make comments if there's anything that you guys would like to know. Also, while you're here, make sure that you guys are down below. Little screen there. You guys are clicking the like button. You guys are clicking the subscribe and also clicking the bell to get the notifications as well. And if you want to, share the video. I would love it if you shared this video with your friends on Facebook or Twitter. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, let's jump right into this one. First thing is, over the weekend, I did a wine run with my wife. It's something that had been planned for a while. Her family members had kind of latched onto this thing and had a big planned kind of wine run group. And so we ended up doing it. And lo and behold, Mrs. Producer Dave's out there hanging out too. The wife and I were up trying to get a glass of wine, and Mrs. Producer Dave popped up and came and said hello to us. It was nice seeing her out there. And we're like, "Where's Dave?" She's like, "Oh, he had to stay home with the kids. It was Mama's night out."
Oh, but trust me, we were sharing McCalligan's 12 tequila, silver añejo, and a bunch of beer. Don't get those actually.
Jesus,
that's how I babysit the kids.
Sounds like a party happening over at Producer Dave's house. But so the wine run was cool, man. So it's a 5K. It was out at one of the vineyards out at La Union. Is that how you say it, or is it like La Union?
That's close enough.
Cool. We'll call it La Union. And so, it was out there. It was cool. It was fun. And the wife and they were asking if we'd been training. I don't know if we would necessarily call it training, but I do run on a regular basis because, I'm taking a vacation next week. So, by the way, no AfterBuzz next week. I'll bring that back up later. But, once I get back and stuff, I'm going to get back into training again. Unfortunately, my schedule's been a little bit busy, so I haven't really been able to train. But I'm going to get back into that. And so I want to make sure that while I'm not able to go make it to train officially, I'm still keeping my endurance up and I'm running and doing all of that stuff. So I actually track my runs as well. Just kind of check the time. And the one thing that the wife and I had done was, of course, the sound is on, you jackass. This is, which one is this? This is like a run free app or something like that. But it'll track like how far you went. It'll track what your times are and stuff like that. And when we first ran, the first time the wife and I ran together, this was back on Cinco de Mayo. We ran just over 2 miles, and we were at 11 minutes and 38 seconds per mile. Not terrible, but not great. The next day we ran, we shaved off 26 seconds off of that time. We were down to 11 minutes and 12 seconds by the next time we ran. We ran the following day. We cut off another 24 seconds. We were down under 11 minutes to 10 minutes and 48. So we were able to kind of take some big chunks out of there just a couple of weeks before the wine run. So when we got to the wine run, I know that my pace is going to be faster than my wife's. And one of the issues that we were running into is when we would run together, I would slow my pace down and it would start hurting my knees because I'd have to take like baby steps. So my knees would start to ache, but eventually we were able to get to the point where she was able to keep up with me more. We would just have to take, some more frequent breaks and stuff. But then, we get to the wine run and we're kind of going out there and you're running through the vineyard and stuff like that. And we're getting out there, and then she slows down, she stops. So I stop with her and then we're kind of walking through it and then we kick back up and we run. And then at about the 1.5 mile mark, I think she is sensing me just like, not necessarily frustrated, but I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. And so she finally looks at me and she goes, "Go ahead." And I'm like, "Huh?" And she's like, just go. And I'm already, as I'm running, she's like 3 paces behind me. And I'm like, "Are you sure? You good? You good? Okay." And then I just hauled ass off out of there. And I made a really damn good time. I finished the 5K in about 28 minutes, which is about 9 minutes, I think, per mile, approximately. And the wife she made a really damn good time too. She finished it in about 32 minutes, and that put her at like 10 minutes a mile. So, it wasn't too shabby. But then, so when you're done with the 5K, you come in, you hang out, you get some water, you can get a glass of wine if you'd like. And then about an hour later, they do the 1K walk. And that's where they just kind of have stations with different wines and stuff on them. So you can go ahead and try some of the nice wines that they had. Fungi Mungo was playing out there, and Fungi Mungo is always a good time. Those guys are great up on stage. So we're and it was funny because one of the chicks who was kind of like running the wine run, they were doing a costume contest, and she goes, "We're here rocking out with Fungi Mungle," because Fungi Mungle is spelled like fungi, like a fungus, and just one of the guys just kind of goes, "Fungi Mungle," and she goes, "Oh, I mean Fungi Mungle," and like you can tell clearly she had not heard of them before. But no, it was a ton of fun. We kind of did the walk. He got to try a bunch of the wines. The wife went back around and she tried extra wine, and then she chickened out on the other one because you're in this one area and you leave on this side, and then you kind of go around this area and you come back on this side. So they don't want cups or anything leaving that vicinity. So it's really just kind of like a wine station, and then you go out into the field and you come back around and like wine station really quick. And so when we got done, my wife was like, "Well, I'm going to go try that first one again." So she made it look like she was starting the 1K over again. Had no problems with it. Went and got it, and then she went to go hit up the last station one more time just to try some more of that wine. But the guy that was there intimidated her, and so she just ran away. And she's like, "I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to do that." So she ended up bogging out on that completely. But it was a lot of fun. We ended up buying a couple of bottles of wine. We'll get to enjoy those next week when we're on vacation. But that was great. It was great seeing Mrs. Producer Dave out there. It was a lot of fun, man. But apparently the party was at Producer Dave's house where he was hanging out with the kids.
We had a blast. I'll tell you that much. Had a blast.
So that was the Wicked wine run. The other big thing, obviously, over the weekend, Game of Thrones, the big series finale. Not a big fan. I didn't like it. I didn't mind most of the stuff that they had been doing leading up to this series finale. I didn't mind the Daenerys turn because that was something. Which, by the way, it's Daenerys. Buzz, for the love of God, man, it's Daenerys, not Daenerys. But anyway, I didn't mind how some of those storylines played out. I didn't mind some of that stuff. I was not a fan of some of the deaths though, like the Cersei and Jaime death. That just seems stupid. That was it was a throwaway. There was so many things that are included in the books that they even allude to in the series and the TV show about all of these different prophecies, and it was almost like the creators were like, well, we don't care about it, so we're just gonna do whatever we want. And like Jon Snow ending up having to go north, which, by the way, when he's going north, is he going with the wildlings? Like, is he ditching his Night's Watch duties, or is he just going with them to follow them up there, and then he's going back to be a member of the Night's Watch? Like, it just, I wasn't a big fan. I didn't mind a few things that I did like. I liked Arya going off to go explore more because that's her character. Like you could see that happening. That's kind of that's her thing. For Sansa, mm, I did like it. I take it back. I did like it. I did like that she made it a point that the North will be an independent country, or an independent kingdom, and but they'll still support the crown when needed. Blah 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 blah, which I thought was pretty cool. But man, there was so much other stuff. Um, but like I don't know. It wasn't the biggest fan. But anyway, something else that HBO's got going for it is Barry. That show is great. If you guys aren't watching Barry, by all means, check out Barry with Bill Hader. It's the premise of the show is, and they kind of explain this in the first episode, where he's a hitman, and he believes he's just killing all the bad guys. And he was in Afghanistan, came back to the States, couldn't find a sense of purpose, was in depression, didn't leave an apartment for months and months and months. And so he ends up having this guy who's kind of like his uncle, who, by the way, is played by, is it Stephen Ross? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name as I'm talking about this on the AfterBuzz. No, it's not. Damn it. God, what the hell? Stephen Root, my bad. Stephen Root. And if you aren't familiar with Stephen Root, He's hilarious. He played Jimmy James on news radio back in the 90s. He was the guy that owned the radio station. He's been in countless other things. He's the guy that played Milton in Office Space, the guy that ends up burning the place down. And I'm sorry, you used to my red stapler. That's Stephen Root, and the guy's hilarious. So he's also in Barry, and he kind of plays this guy who's kind of a fatherly figure slash uncle, but I don't think they're actually related. Who gives him a sense of purpose in the sense that he's like, look, all that stuff you were doing over in Afghanistan, you can do here in the United States, which is being a hitman, like killing people. So he sends him off to Los Angeles for this one job, and it turns out all of a sudden Bill Hader's character, Barry, ends up getting the acting bug. So he's in this acting class all while trying to balance this kind of hitman career going on. And it's just, Bill Hader's brilliant. Like, that guy is absolutely hilarious. If you've never seen any of, like, one of the funniest things, if you aren't familiar with it, was Bill Hader on Saturday Night Live doing the Stefan character, which is one of the best things that Saturday Night Live has done in a while. And uh, his celebrity impressions. He does a lot of really good celebrity impressions, and he usually will do those on late night talk shows. And I just showed producer Dave this video, and it's one from Conan where they do a deep fake. And if you don't remember, or if you're not familiar with what a deep fake is, a deep fake is where they superimpose somebody else's face onto somebody else's body, and it looks seamless. I mean, it doesn't look anything like computerized. I mean, it looks damn near legit. And they had a big problem with this because there was a lot of deep fake pornos being released where it was a porno film with somebody else's face on, the actress's body who's, getting double teamed or whatever. So he was on Conan promoting Barry. I think this was about a week ago or so. And he starts talking about his daughter, but he ends up going into this kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger-esque voice. And it's like, isn't it weird?
Oh, it's extremely weird.
It's
scary.
It goes from Bill Hader's face to Arnold Schwarzenegger's face, and you almost don't even, like, all of a sudden you're looking at it like, when did that change? Like, when did it go? When did it go from his face to Arnold's face? Like, it's freakishly weird. And then even at that point when he's doing it, I mean, there's a couple of scenes where you can tell like the face is just a little bit offset or it's not quite perfect. But man, it's scary looking and it's also hilarious at the same time. So if you can, are you going to find the link there?
Yes.
So I think producer Dave's going to hook us up. He's going to send you guys a link here in the YouTube chat, so you guys can go watch it. Don't watch it now. Wait till the AfterBuzz is done. Click it afterwards. But go check it out, man, because it is really, really creepy. But Bill Hader's brilliant. HBO's got a ton of really good shows coming up. Watchmen looks really good. Second season of Big Little Lies. Did you ever see Big Little Lies, producer Dave?
I've never seen that one.
Okay, so when you kind of see the previews, you're like, okay, this is a chick show. My wife watched the show, but I ended up, it was one of those ones where she was on episode like 3 or 4, and I'm sitting down next to her as she's watching it, and I got sucked into it, man. Like, totally sucked into it. She's man, I need to bring my wife in here to do like a synopsis of shows she watches, because she she does what I do, where like she'll talk about something and then really randomly she'll remember something that happened like at the very beginning of the episode, and then she immediately jumps back to it, and then like it's all over the place, but it's fucking hilarious. So she's trying to describe to me exactly what Big Little Lies is about.
Uh-huh.
So the premise is, in this first episode, you witness this guy dying. You witness this guy. I don't remember exactly how it happens, and I'm not going to ruin it for anybody. But you witness the guy dying, and then the series is kind of about all of these ladies and how they're dealing with that death of this guy. But it's also got flashbacks, so you're kind of seeing what led up to it as well. And then obviously in the last episode, you find out what happened, what caused this guy to die, and then all hell breaks loose after that. So pretty damn good show. Highly recommend Big Little Lies as well. I'm trying to think of what else HBO. I know that they've been promoting the third season of Westworld. Like, they had the commercial for that pop up, and that's going to be coming out next year. Man, they lost me in season 2. It was so damn confusing. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I have a tough enough time with normal shows. I don't need one that time jumps and it's like, this is the this is the beginning, and like all of a sudden this is the end, but we're gonna flip flop, and it's like, you know what? It's too much, man. It's too much. But who knows? Maybe I'll give it another shot here coming up. What else do they have? Deadwood. Deadwood was a show that I never watched live. I didn't watch it when it was on because that was in that time span I didn't have HBO. It's why I never watched the Sopranos from the get go because we didn't have HBO. But I heard Deadwood was good, and I love Timothy Olyphant, man. That dude is awesome. That guy was, first thing I really remember him in was Scream 2. Remember, he was, spoiler alert, he's the killer. He's a bad guy. But if you never saw Justified, watch it. That's a really good show. He plays, I believe it's a U.S. Marshal. I said this on the air earlier this week, but I can't quite remember. I believe he plays a U.S. Marshal. But he is just an amazing actor. So they're bringing him back for Deadwood as well. But HBO's got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff coming up. So on that note, final topic for today. I told you it's going to be kind of not really an abbreviated after buzz. It's because really I want this to be right around 30 minutes, but just kind of keep rambling on to about 40 minutes. But again, if you guys have anything that you want brought up in the YouTube chat, by all means, hit it up in the YouTube chat there. Bring up your question, bring up your comment, whatever you'd like to talk about. But the next thing we're going to talk about, final thing we're going to talk about, unless somebody brings something up, is Nico's fall. He failed miserably at this. Like, this was pathetic. Like, we've used him in challenges before, and I've been very tentative to use him recently because he never shows up on time. And the one thing that Nico doesn't understand is that we're prepping a 5-hour show, and we're trying to balance a bunch of different things. So if we say be here at 7 o'clock for this one thing that you need to do, you need to be there at 7 o'clock. And he would always blow it off to be like, oh, well, I'm not getting paid. It's not that big of a deal. And it's like, well, no, dude, this is a problem, man. We're putting forward all this effort. This is our job. This is our careers that we're doing this for. So if you want to do it, you do have to take it seriously. This isn't something that you can just kind of go about. But I give the guy credit. He showed up on time today. He showed up at 6 o'clock. We asked him to be here at 6 o'clock. He was here at 6 o'clock. So it's a good sign going for Nico there. But on the bad side, he failed miserably at this thing. I'm trying to think of some of the other challenges. We did the Sprite and Banana challenge with him. That was where you eat like a banana and then you chug Sprite. But what it's supposed to do is turn you into kind of a volcano, and then it just like swells up and then, and then it fires out of your mouth. And I mean, he threw up, but it wasn't like projectile vomiting or anything like that. He's been zapped by a taser, which I still have mine. Remember, Buzz got me one of those for Christmas this year, and I've still got mine, the little one that you put in your hand, and so you put it like this. So it's like if you're making a fist, and so you can zap people with it like that. I'm still holding on to that one just in case we need to zap the old Nicorino there. But the whole premise of this stunt is that you stand there with your hands in your pockets, and then you fall forward and you're not able to catch yourself because your hands are in your pockets every time. And I've got all the footage on my phone, and when I get a chance to, it's probably not going to. It will probably not go up until next week, just because I don't have time to work on it right now. But I want to produce the full video of Nico falling and failing miserably. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, I think the final one, he finally got to the point where it was a little bit close, and we almost were like almost going to give him the money because Buzz ponied up $20, I ponied up $20, and Lisa ponied up $3. And it just, but after the first segment, we were like, no, like not gonna, you didn't earn this money. So it got to the point where, and even it was to the point where it's like, we'll just have him do it on his knees, right? You should be able to do it on your knees. Because remember, Jackass did that stunt from their knees. Still failed, still couldn't do it. So what we ended up doing is we had, we duct tape, or actually electrical tape, his hands behind his back, and then Joanna got to "This Is Sparta" him and kick him down, and eventually it was enough of a win that he's gonna get paid for it. But I'll be working on that that video here coming up. And the one thing too is, like, on the final one that he did standing up, he's like, I jabbed my elbow into my side because he kept turning. Like, he kept doing this, and so when he landed, his elbow jammed into his ribs, and he was wondering why that hurt. And it's like, take it to the face, man. Damn it.
$45. I mean, I'll knock myself out. We'll do it.
Producer Dave's in.
Hell
43
yeah.
though, not 45. Don't go
No, we
getting
gotta round
greedy
it
on
up.
us, man.
If I'm gonna knock myself out, though,
You want that $2,
give
huh?
me
You
the
got
two
to make it at
dollars.
least divisible by 5. Um, but yeah, so he ended up not getting it until the very end when we were like, okay, and even then I think we're being a little bit generous to the guy about okay, well we'll pay you the cash here, my man.
We'll throw the video up on your next week.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Remember,
Oh,
we're gone.
2 weeks.
Jordan saying, I want to see him do it. But like, we'll trust because the one angle that we had for the Facebook chat was just the one overhead camera that was kind of looking down. So you're just looking at the top of his head, which is funny because he then realized how bald he was. He's like, man, I thought I had more hair up there. No. And then it's just him kind of falling away from the camera down onto the ground. But I got a shot from where I'm at in my studio,
Yeah,
looking directly down on him. So that should come in handy. Really quick YouTube chat. JD Carver says, Branding, I still want the Old Town Road Game of Thrones parody you guys did. There's one problem with that. We didn't do it. I know Buzz will kind of sell it on the air like that. But no, that's not anything that we did. We didn't produce it here in house. And even if we did, we wouldn't be able to share it because Old Town Road is copyrighted song. It's copyrighted material. Like we can run it on the air on the FM dial, but we can't put it online. We can't, put an MP3 up. We can't do anything like that. So unfortunately, um, we're not, we're not able to do that. It's one of those things you just got to hear when you hear it. Joe's saying he wants to see you do it in the chat. He's not saying that he wants to see Nico's doing it. He wants to see producer Dave doing it.
I know Joe, and Joe would want me to do it.
Yeah,
so,
but I feel bad. Like Dave's too good of a dude to do that too. Like, one of the reasons we do it to Nico is because that's his job. He's the stunt boy. We need producer Dave with all of his teeth and all of his wits about him because he needs to be able to help me out with all this stuff. So JD says, got a link for it then, can't find it. No, because it came from like a prep service. It's not released. I don't know if there's really anywhere to find it. If I do find a link that I won't get in trouble for, I'll share that. But other than that, like we can't share that at all. But anyway, so yeah. So if you guys have any more, I've totally forgot. There's one more thing I want to get to before we wrap up this edition of the AfterBuzz. But if there is any more stuff you guys want, questions, comments, hit it up in the YouTube chat. I'm watching a thing called Jailbirds on Netflix, and it's all about this Sacramento County jail that's multiple stories, and there are it's like there's a woman's floor and a men's floor, and the women's floor is kind of sandwiched between the guys, I believe, and it's so weird. So they have how they have all these tricks of the trade and stuff like that when it comes to being in prison, like how to you learn about Pruno and how they make Pruno, which is it's basically the prison alcohol is what it is. It's where you take fruit, you ferment it, and then you have to let it sit for a few days. It turns into alcohol. But the weird thing is they do this thing. It's like called toilet talking because all the pipes are connected in this prison. So what they do is inside all their cells, they have like an aluminum toilet bowl. And so all you do is you scoop the water out, and you can just yell into it like this, or some of them kind of fashion like a tube. They'll take like a cardboard tube, or they'll take like styrofoam cups, and they'll stack them on top of each other and poke a hole in the bottom, and then they can talk. And so if somebody else has the water emptied out of their toilet bowl, they communicate and they talk back and forth. And it's like a dating service where like dudes are hitting on chicks, and it's weird. And then, like this one girl's talking about, she's like, don't do that stuff, man. It's gross because you get acne all over your face and stuff because you're talking to a toilet. So yeah. Then they do a thing called fishing. So fishing is when they're provided like white undershirts to wear. You tear it down into strips. And so you basically have like a big long string from this white undershirt. And then on the end of it, you tie off plastic spoons. And what you do is after you've communicated, you've taken all the water out and you're talking to, somebody. It's like, hey, like you have some sort of contraband. You can either have drugs, maybe you have like different kinds of food items, or maybe you want to pass a note. Like it's so funny. They write like love letters to each other and shit. And so what'll happen is you communicate it. And so you stuff it spoons in first, and then you both say, okay, are you ready? Are you ready? And then you both flush like at the same time. And so if you're on different floors, the spoons kind of come like this, and then they meet in like the main pipe that goes down to the bottom because they all go to the same pipe. Really? So when they meet, the spoons will get tangled, and then whoever's taking what's on the line, like if let's say the person on the bottom is sending something to the person up above them, the person up above will then pull on the line, and they will pull it till the spoons come up, and then whatever they attach to the end of their spoons from the floor below pops up top. They take it off, and then they flush again, and then they get their spoons back. It's so flipping weird,
Wow.
man. And it's
Wow.
funny because they're interviewing this one guy, how they do like the confessional stuff where they kind of get him one on one, and this one guy's like, I don't know who did it first,
Imagine.
but that's science, man. And it's like, and it's so funny because it's such deadpan when like it's such a deadpan delivery when the guy says this, but it is like it's so weird, but it's fascinating stuff. Um, and so if you can check it out, it's called Jailbirds. It's on HBO, and
Netflix.
and what's funny is there's this one girl. Ugh, this is a gross scene. But there's this one girl who's like writing love letters to this other guy, and she's pulling on her, the thing, and she's trying to get the love letter out. And her friend's sitting there, she's like, "Oh, what's that?" And the one girl goes, "Oh, that's boo boo," meaning like it's poop, like literally, like they're pulling because it's in the sewers, like it's in the toilet pipes. So as they're pulling out, like it's not like throwing poop out of the toilet or anything, but the string's coming back brown. And she's like, she goes, oh, she's like, do you want some gloves? And she's like, no. She goes, I'm committed now. And she's just like grabbing it, and it's like, oh my god, that's so disgusting. And they send food that way.
What?
Like they will, like they'll have like a bag of chips or something like that. I mean, it's obviously sealed, but even then, I'm like, that's fucking gross, man. Like that's disgusting. But no, it's a fascinating show. And what's weird is it feels like I've watched a lot of it, but I dozed off yesterday. So my garage door broke yesterday when I was going to work. That fucking sucked. So I had to call a garage doorman to come fix the garage door yesterday. So as I'm waiting for him, I popped that on and I dozed off for a few minutes. Um, and as I dozed off, do you ever fall asleep while you're watching TV and whatever's on the TV
Oh, all the
becomes your
time.
dream?
Yeah, all the time.
I was in that prison, man.
Really?
I'm like, man, I
You
was
were
in
there
that
fishing?
prison. I was fishing. I was talking to people in toilet bowls, and like there was a fight happening, and I'm like, I'm like sleep fighting, like Ron Swanson, and stuff like that. So, no, it was so weird. Like it's like that would be a really I mean, they've probably done experiments like this before, but it'd be a really interesting experiment to do is where you have people fall asleep, and it's usually when you nap. At least that's kind of what I have gathered. If you're only going to knock out for 20 minutes, an hour, maybe an hour and a half max, that's when that is most likely to happen because you never fully fall asleep. You're still kind of in that before the REM state. So you're a little bit conscious, so you're aware of what's going on, which is you're picking up on the TV. And it'd be interesting to see if there's any specific kind of television show that picks up like that people will latch onto, or like if there's like just kind of what occurs, I guess, to the brain while all that stuff is happening. I think that would be kind of brilliant. But yeah, so anyway, so there's a few shows to watch. Be sure to check out Barry on HBO. It's hilarious. Jailbirds over on Netflix. I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff coming up on HBO. Producer Dave, Game of Thrones finale, yay or nay?
I thought it was okay. I definitely feel it was rushed.
Mm-hmm.
I think there could have been at least maybe another, 4 or 5 episodes in
That's
between the
that's one
Battle
of
of
my biggest.
Winterfell and all that stuff. So, but ultimately, I think it was okay.
That was one of my biggest issues with the whole thing was that with it feeling rushed. I didn't like it's like oh like Jon Snow just went and stabbed her and then the dragon comes in and oh by the way spoiler alert so then the dragon comes into the throne room and torches the throne and it's like how the fuck would the dragon even know about that like that's so like to me that was dumb like that was so stupid. I should go back and watch so I usually would watch the like how when the show first comes on it says stay tuned after the show for a look inside the episode. I don't know if they had that for this
They didn't.
episode though.
It
They
went
didn't.
straight into Barry.
Okay, so I thought it did. It's probably because they're like, we can't fucking explain it. Like, let's not do it anymore. Hey, Frank just popped in. He says, "Rush season, decent end." Nah, Frank, it was rush season, and but see, I don't know. I might actually agree with you with decent. Like,
It was.
it wasn't awful because I do like some of the stuff that they did. I liked Arya leaving to go find out what is west of Westeros, but you're trying to tell me that they've been there for that fucking long and they keep records for that long and nobody's walked over there? Like that to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Frank, bullshit. Seinfeld, decent end. Seinfeld was a good end. That doesn't get the credit it deserves. Seinfeld was a really good ending. Um, but that's nothing that bothered me about Arya leaving. It's like nobody walked over there. But you guys have all of these records about this dude named like Bran the Builder and stuff from thousands and thousands of years ago, but nobody decided, hey, you know what? We'll walk over here. But anyway, Arya is gonna discover America, according to Joe. That would be hilarious. Like if he ends up like over in like the West Indies or something like that, and she actually runs into Christopher Columbus. How fucking hilarious would that be? But anyway, so yeah, it was mediocre. Like there were some things that I liked, but there was a lot of stuff I didn't like. The dragon torching the throne, lame. Jon Snow killing Daenerys the way he did, lame. Like there was just a lot of stuff that just didn't really pan out for me. And I honestly thought too, um, something I thought was interesting. Other people kind of mentioned this in the Facebook chat on Monday when we were talking about the episode. Was that I didn't think that was snow originally that was falling from the sky. I thought it was ash. Like I thought
Yeah.
with the
Right.
city being torched like that, I thought it was ash because the whole thing that kept popping in the back of my brain was, dude, when they like the workers were helping out with 9/11, like all those guys are dying now from like lung cancer and stuff because they're breathing in that stuff. All these people in King's Landing are go through that same stuff. Are you trying to tell me they didn't have asbestos over there, or they weren't concerned about that? That was a problem. I'm telling you right now. But anyway, it was okay. But this. And by the way, you can't check out a new episode of Barry this weekend because I believe that season ended on Sunday with Game of Thrones as well. So you do have two seasons that you can watch if you do have HBO. But on that note, go check it out. And see, and here's what's interesting. Joe's comments, he says, what pissed me off is that stupid Sansa got her way and became Queen of the North. But I have to click show on that comment because he used the word pissed. That's how like butthurt YouTube is about stuff now. So don't worry, Joe. I got your back. I let it fly through. By all means, you can say pissed all you want. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of get it. But also Sansa, like I didn't mind that because I felt that was the perfect ending for her. Because she was, I mean, you think about it, she went through some shit.
She went through a lot.
Yeah,
She
like
went
she
through
was
a
supposed
lot.
to marry Joffrey, and then she was stuck with what the hell was that dude's name? The guy that plays Mick Mars in the Motley Crue movie, The Dirt. Um, who was the psycho that cut off Theon Greyjoy's wiener?
Oh yeah.
God damn it! Look that up really quick. So I got a Frank Sharple's thing here. It says, "So happy they laughed at Sam after he proposed democracy. If it ended all happy like that, I would have pulled a Jax on SOA and drove straight into a truck." No, I thought that was pretty funny that they specifically did that, where he's like, maybe if we're going to pick somebody to rule the people, we should let the people decide. And they just start laughing their asses off. I thought that was funny. I thought that Bran becoming the king was stupid. I didn't like that because like he's the three-eyed raven, and he has shown that he's been able to have visions of the future. Yes, Ramsay Snow. That's who it was. Ramsay Snow. That son of a bitch. Like he had her for a while too. Like that's why I don't mind her ending of her becoming kind of like the queen of the North because she went through a lot of shit in this series, man.
There's two people I would punch in the face.
Or Ramsay Bolton. I mean,
and
Ramsay Bolton too was the full name, but Ramsay Snow was the original. I think. What was that, Dave?
No, there's two people I would punch in the face if I saw them. One was the actor that played Joffrey,
Yeah.
and then it's just Ramsay.
But see, that's
so-
what's weird. We talked about this on the air. Apparently, that kid that played Joffrey is super nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That just goes to show you how good he was at playing that role.
Exactly.
Like he was apparently a super nice dude. But anyway, yeah, there's just a lot that I didn't like about it. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. But anything else there, producer Dave? Anything you want to say?
I'm good.
That's it.
Good.
A man of many words over there, ladies and
Good.
gentlemen. A man of many words. On that note, remember, no AfterBuzz next week because the wifey and I going on a little vacation, taking a drive through Texas. We're gonna end up in Austin, up at Round Rock, and we'll be hanging out for a while and just relaxing for a week, and then we'll be back the following week. So 2 more weeks, and I am gonna try to get that Nico video done as soon as I can. I'm freakishly busy. You'll notice one of the things too is Rockstar 101 has kind of hit a bit of a hiccup because my schedule has been insane and Shim's schedule has been insane as well. Like he's kind of bouncing back and forth between Australia and the States, which you got to believe is just going to take its toll on the guy. And I, my schedule's just been completely turned on its head trying to do Loudwire nights. I did it last Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. So it's a crazy hectic schedule. But we'll get back to it. I do have one more episode of Rockstar 101 that I still need to edit, which will be going up hopefully either at the end of this week, but most likely next week. So if you guys are sticking around for that, I apologize for the delay. It's just the schedule is just fucking insane at this point. But on that note, have yourselves a fantastic Wednesday. Big thanks to producer Dave. Make sure you say hi to the wife for us because it was great seeing her out there on Saturday at the wine run. And we also did mention that maybe D&D coming up again. I know it's been a while, but we're trying to corral everybody together to possibly do another Legends of Concordia session coming up soon. Not sure when, but our fingers are crossed. Hopefully. So on that note, have yourselves a fantastic Wednesday. See you tomorrow morning, bright and early for the Buzz Adams Morning Show at 5 a.m. Mountain Time.